Forget what you know about the Great Pyramid of Giza. It wasn't aliens. It's a 6 million-ton mountain of stone, a pure masterclass in ancient physics. For centuries, we've obsessed over how Bronze Age humans pulled this impossible feat off. The internet loves a conspiracy, but the real, documented engineering is way cooler. Today, we're tearing down the myths to show you the actual genius construction hacks. Phase 1, you need rocks, and the sheer volume required is absolutely staggering. Most of the pyramid is limestone, quarried right out of the local Giza ground. But without iron or steel, they relied completely on soft, easily dented copper chisels. Copper dulls instantly against solid stone. Armies of smiths worked constantly to resharpen them. For the truly massive blocks, they used a terrifyingly simple physics hack involving wood. Workers pounded bone-dry wooden wedges deep into cracks, then flooded them with water. The soaked wood aggressively expands. The pressure is so intense, it cleanly snaps bedrock. For the hyperdense interior granite, they didn't even bother with soft copper chisels. They waited for the Nile's annual flood, letting the swollen river do the lifting. But dragging a heavy sled creates a massive, moving wall of dry, piling sand. This wall of friction makes a 2-ton stone feel like it weighs 10. Okay, you've cut a massive 2-ton stone. Now you have to move it. And you can't use wheels. Heavy carts sink straight into the deep desert sand. The solution was hiding in plain sight, painted vividly on an ancient tomb wall. Look right here. A worker stands at the sled's very front, pouring liquid. He is pouring a highly specific amount of water directly onto the dry sand. This is capillary action. Water creates microbridges, locking the loose sand grains like glue. It stiffens the path completely, literally cutting the required pulling force perfectly in half. How do you push a multi-ton block 400 feet straight up into the sky? But the massive 80-ton granite slabs for the king's chamber were not local.
Pull, heave! Pull, heave! Together now, pull!
They were cut in Aswan, 500 miles away, so the Egyptians just floated them. They waited for the Nile's annual flood, letting the swollen river do the lifting. But floating rocks is the easy part. Here comes the real, terrifying architectural nightmare. How do you push a multi-ton block 400 feet straight up into the sky? Theory 1 is the straight ramp theory, but the sheer math is completely broken. To keep the incline gentle, that ramp would have to be a mile long. That ramp would require more stone and labor than the Great Pyramid itself. Next up, the spiral ramp theory. It wraps around the outside, heavily saving materials. But it has a fatal flaw. An external ramp completely hides the pyramid's corners. Without seeing the corners, builders couldn't verify the giant structure was building perfectly straight. Enter architect Jean-Pierre Houdin, who proposed a radical, absolute game-changing idea for construction. The internal ramp theory. He argues they built a hollow, spiraling tunnel securely inside. This hidden internal ramp let workers safely haul massive stones up from the inside. The actual corners of the pyramid were left wide open to the bright sky. These open corners gave teams the vital room to pivot blocks 90 degrees perfectly. Once spun around, they just kept hauling it up the next internal sloping ramp. Sounds like pure theoretical guesswork, right? Until you look at modern microgravimetry scans. These highly advanced modern scans actually map the physical density of the pyramid today. They reveal clear, spiraling, low-density pockets, hiding just behind the thick outer limestone walls. Those empty interior spaces match the exact shape and slope of Houdin's predicted ramp. It is a breathtakingly brilliant solution to one of history's absolute greatest engineering puzzles. But before we finish, we absolutely have to talk about the ancient builders themselves. Pop culture has completely lied to you. The pyramids were definitively not built by slaves. Hollywood desperately loves the dramatic image of enslaved people suffering under the burning sun. But modern excavations of the massive workers' city right at Giza reveal the truth. The builders were actually highly skilled laborers and regular, fiercely respected Egyptian citizens. They were proudly paying their mandatory labor tax to the central government in exchange. Most of the massive heavy lifting happened specifically during the annual 3-month Nile flood. Since their fields were totally underwater, standard farming was physically impossible during this season anyway. And they certainly didn't starve. Archaeologists found tens of thousands of discarded animal bones. These workers ate premium cuts of beef, sheep, and drank thick, highly nutritious beer. They were highly valued. We found skeletons showing perfectly healed, expert ancient bone setting. There is even fossilized evidence of manual workers who fully survived complex ancient brain surgeries. They weren't broken victims. They were deeply proud to build this incredible eternal monument. It was the ultimate national project, uniting the entire country through sheer collaborative willpower. No aliens, no lasers, no lost magic, just incredibly brilliant, highly practical engineering. They used basic physics, endless patience, and a deep, masterful understanding of their environment. Something as brilliantly simple as pouring water on sand literally moved mountains of rock. They designed genius internal ramps and fed an army of thousands to execute it. The Great Pyramid absolutely proves what humans can do when we flawlessly organize our efforts. When we actively apply the raw laws of physics, we can build things that last forever. If you love breaking down the real, fascinating science behind history's greatest ancient mysteries, hit that like button and definitely subscribe to the channel for more